project. Whether it was from the Girls Lacrosse team, who can't be here, there's about 20 of them, because I will never forget the sight of them running from the mice and the frogs and the tubes I had to take out. But they spent hours and hours on my project. By the way, my project was demolishing a prairie dog habitat. And I know that sounds really counterproductive, but they were using it for like a solitude garden afterwards, so now it looks a lot better since it was abandoned. But like I said, I want to thank the Girls Lacrosse team, the guys lacrosse team, for helping me come out to the project. After practice, we would go there and they'd help me, and it gets really tiring swinging a 16-pound sledgehammer for 4 hours at a time. But when it comes to the project, there's a specific person that I want to thank in my troop, and it's Chris Garcia. And regardless of whatever day it was, no matter what we were doing, after lacrosse practice, he would always come with me and help me and do whatever he could, and he would swing the hammer, because he loved doing that. But he was great. He would help me all the time, and for that, I would really like to thank him. Thank you, Chris. Alright. Secondly, I'd like to thank my mom and dad. Without them, you can't really do much. My dad pushed me in the beginning for Cub Scouts. Always made sure that I was at all meetings. When it came to Boy Scouts, when they hadn't worked, I always made sure they had a car that I could get to the troop, although, as Mr. Bowman can say, it's not a very far walk from my house. I live right behind it. But they would always make sure that I had a way to get there. And leading on to that, with Eagle ceremonies, a big deal for anyone who doesn't know is to get a mentor's pin. Now, a mentor's pin is something that you give to, for this I didn't include my parents because they did get the mother's and father's pins, but they've been there, like I said, for every step along the way. And again, I want to thank you guys. These are for miscellaneous people, but the first person that I'd like to call up and thank is also for his kind words that I'd like to add on to this. This is the scout leader what do you call him? Assistant Scoutmaster, or Assistant Scout Leader, who, he's at every project, regardless of what it is, no matter how crappy the work is. Because when it's 80 degrees out and you're moving concrete and gravel, no one wants to be there, but he will always be there, and he will always make sure that you have the tools that you need, make sure that you are set with food, and that pretty much anything. Mr. O'Shields, I'd like to call you forward to present my first mentor's pin. The next person who I'd like to present it to, he isn't here, and I know I talked to Mr. Coleman about not presenting it, but I do want to acknowledge it. Mr. Lockwood Colonel Lockwood is a scoutmaster for our troop, and whenever I need a recommendation letter, full bird colonel from the Army is usually pretty good to have, and he is always the first person to help me out with whatever it was that I needed inside of Scouts and outside of Scouts. And for that, I would just like to commend him for all that he's done for me. And hopefully I'll get to give this to him the next time I see him. The next, even though you won't be able to see her, she stands behind the podium. But we do love her. She's known among the Eagle Scouts in our troop for the red pen. And I'd like to call Miss P forward, please. Before you sit down, though, thank you. But before she sits down, when another thing that I love about Miss P, when she'll go out of her way to make sure that every kid in this troop is taken care of. In Alaska, my sleeping bag had a big hole in it, and I'm a little taller than my sleeping bag, so my feet always went out the bottom. But she took the time and she sat there and she sewed up my sleeping bag so I wouldn't freeze in the 20-degree temperature that we were at. It was cold in this room. Don't give me that look. It was cold. It felt like 20. But again, I want to thank you. The last person I'm going to give a mentor's pin to. The selfless, yeah, he's the most selfless person that I can honestly say I know, by far. If you look around, for those of you who aren't in my troop, if you look around and you see a uniform, it can all be led up to this man and what he does for everyone in the uniform here. He doesn't have a son in the troop, yet he spends weeks out of his year to make sure that we have a good time and that we're safe while doing it. And we owe everything to him, and I'd like to call Mr. Pubman forward, please. But, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time with you guys, don't worry. Yeah. Again, thank you for everyone who supported me. There's going to be food, so my long drawn-out speech isn't going to be worth nothing. But, again, I'd like to thank you all for coming. This concludes everything that I would like to say. Thank you.